Joe Henry, Chris Carrino, joined now in the Rose Hill Studios by Fordham men's basketball head coach Mike Magpayo, junior forward Akira Jacobs. Guys, welcome. We're less than a week away from basketball season. The opener at home against NJIT next Tuesday night, 7 p.m. We're thrilled. A chance for you guys, though, to finally show everyone everything that you've been working on the past several weeks, several months, even after a whirlwind off season. How excited are you both?
Yeah, well, time flies, right? I mean, geez, it's been an awesome ride so far, but it's exciting. I mean, I think we feel it the last starting yesterday. I felt like I started to feel it, and then today when I was saying we're 6 days away from a game, I think that'll open up anybody's eyes and get our attention, and we kind of had our probably last big scrimmage day today, and then everything else going forward will be tighten up and scheme oriented against our opening night opponent NJIT.
Yeah, and I think as both of you probably could attest to this, this week and specifically this next couple weeks is a time you're thinking about for months. How do you not let it overwhelm you the start of the season? How do you let it kind of take you in stride without it, bubbling up?
I'd say for like myself personally, I think something that we do really well here is how competitive like practices are. So it's like the games come around, it's just like it's gonna be like feels natural. Like we play hard against each other, we prepare really well. So like once the game comes, it's not something like we're super like, oh, it's a game, so now we have to like flip a switch. I feel like we're just prepared by how we practice, how we compete against each other, and the energy that we bring every single day.
How important is that competitiveness in practice for just your unit?
Yeah, I mean that's definitely how we design practices. I've always, I think I might have talked about it last time I was here. Pete Carroll is one of my idols, and I've always tried to design practice with that fast tempo. And competitive, everything is kind of competitive.
As a Seahawk fan, I love to hear that as well.
Awesome.
That's my guy. Yeah,
I love it, man. I loved him.
You're going to get gloves on for passes, too? Or no?
We actually have some guys who'd be great at football, like Jace Howard. My goodness.
He's got the size, for sure.
For sure.
Fordham needs a running back.
Yeah. Jeez, man. Don't tell him. He'd be a great one over there. No, I mean, it's great to hear that. And we do try to design practices, and that's kind of the method behind the madness. I just was yelling at them for the last 2 hours. So trying to make practice harder than the games. And it was good to have a couple scrimmages in where we got to see and feel how the coaching staff's going to coach them and how they receive our coaching during the games. Definitely a little different than practices.
I'm curious about your relationship with each other. You were at UC Riverside, you were at Hawaii. You guys played against each other. I'm sure you had the game plan for him, and maybe his performance against you guys stood out to you. Is that something that led to you guys ended up pairing up down the road?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that's exactly what happened. Well, I met Akira when he was 18 years old. He was at the Center of Excellence playing for the NBA Global Academy in Australia, and it's where we get a lot of our international players. And he was a driller back then. We didn't have a spot for but I knew it. And I was watching him, and I was like, man, he's really good. I would have loved to have him. And then for 2 years, he kicked our butts. And for whatever reason, every game he played against UC Riverside, Akira Jacobs kicked our butts. And so when he went in the portal, I went pretty hard at him. I had some late night conversations I can still vividly remember trying to recruit him, and I was really aggressive. I was like, what are you thinking about? Like, come on, let's go. But Akira, he takes his time, and he's really deliberate and really thoughtful. So we're lucky to have him, fired up to have him. I think obviously the Asian connection and the Japanese part of it I think is really, really cool. And although the Dodgers, I'm a huge Dodger fan, and I'm disappointed in our guy Ohtani last night. But we're joking. It's an up and down. Obviously, I'm
can't
thrilled.
be the best every night. I mean, you got on base 9 times. I mean, what do we? No, yeah, it's fantastic. And I wanted to contextualize that to you, Akira. So many nice things he just said about you. I know hearing from Day talking about his process through the portal, it was more looking for a place where a guard he could find similar to him was coaching in UC Riverside. You had a guard very similar to Day, and that was sort of his process, and obviously his connection to coach. What was your process, and how did you go through leaving Hawaii and kind of making your next step?
Yeah, like how Coach said, like I played against him for 2 years, and every time we like scout for them or every time we play against them, I always think like I like how they play. I like their system that they have there, and like once I entered the portal, like obviously I didn't really have a huge idea of like where I wanted to be, like what, but like it was talking to different coaches, and like when he reached out, he, like first off was like the passion that he came in with. I loved it. It was great. Like how he mentioned, he was super hard. He was like, "What are you waiting for, Akira?" He's like, "Commit right now." I was like, "Oh, snap!" But like when that's something that you like to hear, and it's like it's something that he believes that you can be there, and it's something that he also talked about New York and Fordham itself and how much of an opportunity it is playing the A10, but also how well connected, like educationally, Fordham's really good, and just all the things that combine, it just made a lot of sense for me. And then obviously, like I've known like he's really big on like like he has this Asian coaches association stuff like that's like important to me, like to be able to like represent that side of myself as well. So it wasn't the hardest decision in my opinion. Like first couple conversations I was like, it's gonna be Fordham, but so I think it was a pretty easy decision for me.
And you mentioned that belief in you. How important in your career from when you're young till now has that belief from a coach been for you in your game?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like the biggest thing is the belief in myself, like my ability, but just having a coach who believes in your abilities. Like a big thing he says is like he wants me to shoot the ball every single, like sometimes, like every now and then, like I pass up a shot, and like he'd be yelling at me for that. Like, and that's something that it's great because they're like, it's the belief that that's a good shot, that's the shot he wants me to take, and that's why I'm here. So it's something that it helps me get better, but it's also just like he pushes me. Like obviously because he believes in me, he's going to be harder, and by having that like coach like be hard on you, it tells you that they believe you can get to a higher level. So I really appreciate that a lot from him.
Yeah. Coach, beyond Akira, you're tasked with replacing 99% of the minutes that were played by Fordham's team last year. How in the world did you approach that in team building in general?
Well, always character, so we really do, and you've heard me say it, great attitudes and great work ethics. And then we needed guys that wanted to be here at Fordham and New York City. So that was first, and I had 4 years at Columbia, and I knew that there is a blueprint. You need to make sure that people are going to be comfortable or excited, really, to be in New York City. So that was first. But then as far as putting the team together, it was we talk about it still, 13 new players in a matter of 6.5, 7 weeks. It was wild. It was happening fast. So I went with efficiency, something that we're really comfortable with, studying the analytics and looking at the statistics. Like Akira Jacobs, he's a efficient offensive player over his 2 years, and that's what we went for. Most of the guys that we took have over 100 offensive rating, and all of them are different. Like whereas Akira shoots threes, Zarik Nutter draws fouls, and he's also 100 offensive rating. And then you put the pieces of the puzzle together, looking at guys' usages and whatnot. So that's gotten in the way. I looked at it, and then I tried to go old. If we're going to have a 1 year shot, just looking at the way Rick Pitino did it, or just other guys, of course, going forward, I want continuity. So we need Akira Jacobs back next year, no matter what. So everybody get on the train. But
no pressure.
Yeah, but he's a junior, and we went old. 6 grad transfers, a couple juniors, another senior in there. So we really tried to go old and efficient.
Yeah, and Akira, from your perspective, what's the assimilation prospects been like for you the past several months? You are meeting an entire new team, and you're under a new coach. You have to adjust to this new system.
I'd say it hasn't been that difficult. Like even though it's like technically a new team, like some people I already had connections with. Obviously, like Marcus Green, I was teammates with in Hawaii. Abbas I've known since the Center of Excellence NBA Academy. Then a couple of guys like Christian Henry, I was here during the summer with a little bit of day on my visit. Guys like I kind of already knew a little bit. So once I came back from my summer basketball stuff, like it felt like I showed up and then it was like immediately I'm already in the team. It never felt like there was like an adjustment period for me to like get used to the guys. And I feel like everyone's like you guys mentioned, everyone's like such good people that like it's so easy to just be able to fit in and just be a part of this group. And it's really fun every single day, on the court, off the court. Everyone's such great people.
Yeah, united was the word we used before the show started, of kind of how we feel this group, the vibes we're feeling that are radiating from this group. Coach, I want to go back on your answer before. Efficiency, that seems to be the word you use the most when talking about the game. It seems that and analytics seem to be something very important to you. Where did that come from for you? Where did the love of that and the appreciation for that come from?
Yeah, you know what? I was very lucky to work for Kyle Smith at Columbia. That was my first college coaching job in 2010, and I worked there for 4 years. And Coach Smith, and he's now at Stanford, and I worked for him at University of San Francisco as well. And basically, he taught all of us this system of analytics and the way to look at the game, and even the language that we speak. Now we speak in analytics. These guys probably are like still learning points per possession and even the way that we operate as a program. But him and Randy Bennett built it together at St. Mary's. He was his associate coach for a decade, and if you look at all of the guys that worked for Kyle Smith at Columbia, that's Todd Golden at Florida, that's Kobe Altman at the Cleveland Cavaliers, it's Kevin Hovde at Columbia, John Jakes now at Cornell, and John Andrzejczyk at Campbell. We all run a very similar template. And so that's where it came from. Coach Smith spoke in it, and that was kind of, I was director of operations. I was the low man on the totem pole, and he actually put this thing on my desk, and he said, "Hey, we need to create this whatever analytics system that we did at St. Mary's." And I was like, "What the heck is this?" And I think the reason I got the job in the first place was because I had a business background. So he's like, "Oh, this guy can actually." Put together these Excel files and whatnot, and I was not that proficient, and so but what I was good at was using my resources. So I just started putting ads out at Columbia and found a graduate student there that was in statistics, and he put together the file for me that we still use today, actually, funny enough, and a lot of us do. With some tweaks here and there, but that is where it came from. And I think it's just really smart. Like, even if you ran a company, it's like you're going to study. I met with the president. We were just talking about, and even the way she runs the universities. You're looking at trends, and you're studying the analytics. You're studying the statistics, basically. So, I think it's a good approach, and it seems to work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Akira, from your standpoint, what is that like for you as a player?
I think it makes things like really clear and what they're looking for. Like, everything's kind of laid out in front of you. You get to like check in practice we do the stat, like everything. So after the practice ends the next morning or whatever, like we see it and we can see everything that happened. Like, oh, I missed like box outs here, or I was efficient in like getting steals or getting deflections, and you can see like it's really cool. Actually, I really enjoy it. So it makes it simpler to like know what I need to work on, what I'm good at, and just like continue to build off there.
And I think the outsider or the fan perspective could see analytics as maybe confusing the game or making the game more complicated. But from your perspective, it not dumbs the game down, but makes the game more simple. It makes it easier for you to do your job.
Yeah, for sure. Because if if we were just out there playing and then like a coach is like, okay, we're not going to play this guy as much or whatever, I'm going to be like, well, why am I not playing? And whatever. And then obviously you talk to them, but it's different when you can see like everything in front of you.
Specificity of it.
Yeah.
Like there's no vagueness to it at all.
Sure.
And it holds you accountable as accountable as you can be,
for sure.
Which is, I think, very important as well.
100%.
Another big part of the team building that you've attempted to do in the past several months is the brick by brick philosophy. It was such a unique challenge this year, trying to lay the foundation, trying to start a culture here at a new program, but you also are trying to win quickly in a really good conference. How are you balancing those two things? And talk to me about that brick by brick philosophy.
Yeah, even that last part where you said you have to win quickly in this conference, don't even think about that yet. You're just still laying the foundation brick by brick. That'll happen. The results will happen, if you're really process oriented, and we try to be. And the bricks thing came because we had everywhere I've been, I've built. I built a company. In my 20s, I was part of Coach Smith rebuilding Columbia. Then I went to Campbell University and helped rebuild that with our assistant coach, Kevin Smith. We were just assistants together. And then went to University of San Francisco with Coach Smith, where he built San Francisco up. And then at UC Riverside, where I started with David Patrick and then took over, we had to build it from nothing. So all of these were rebuilds or builds even. UC Riverside wasn't a rebuild. It was just a build. They had one winning season in 20 years. And so that's where we got the bricks from. I'll give Coach Patrick credit. That was the idea we came, and so we started doing defensive drills with bricks. It's a mentality of it. There is something to do with like getting your arms strong and using our length, but it's a mentality. It's just like we're brick by brick building it, and we kind of, as we accomplish something as a program in the summer and the fall, we would like drop a brick on a slide that we had. Like the last one we dropped was unselfishness, because I think this team's unselfish, just from what I see every single day and the way they play. And I think that, when you're building a culture, you got to start somewhere and you got to do it a day at a time. So we try not to look far ahead, but if we do that, we'll get it right. We'll be competing.
You got to start somewhere, as you just said. I loved your philosophy on recruiting in the spring, talking with Lou and Nick and Chaz, everyone that was in studio. There's such a craftiness to the way you recruit, and the obvious move is never the move, whether that's socially and personally for a player or on the court. Did a guy have a good last season? Did a guy have a good 2 seasons ago? And was the system he was in maybe not for him? And then even on the social side, will this kid appreciate New York City in the way that a kid over here will not appreciate New York City? Obviously, those are things that at the beginning are challenges, and obviously when you're established in a place, those things sort of dissipate. But contextualizing it now with the roster you have in front of you, what do those things mean for the start of building this program, and when does that change over into maybe more recruiting locally and more recruiting that New York style?
I'm just going to say that I don't think it ever changes until you're Villanova or Duke.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just
No.
think that
And you said the change was happening at UC Riverside as you were leaving. You're getting
Yeah.
some more LA kids, but obviously that change doesn't
Oh,
fully
well,
happen.
that's going to happen. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like but I just think we have to be intelligent with the way that you described it is just being real. There's nuance to like how you recruit, like the old adage of we've always used go where they ain't. We've used international and being really strategic and looking at the analytics or looking at their efficiency maybe in an AAU program. Like we studied the guys that we've had committed right now. We're not allowed to announce their names, but the high school kids, or the fact that we do have some high school kids committed right now where everybody's saving their spots for the portal. So going where they ain't, just trying to build in that way because maybe we aren't the most resource program. So we just have to be really intelligent and just kind of learn that everywhere I've been with Coach Smith, at Columbia, San Francisco, we weren't always the most resourced. Now San Francisco's pretty resourced, but Columbia, there was 5 Ivy Leagues that would beat us if we would go to all the prep schools in the Northeast: Penn, Princeton, Yale, Harvard, and I'm missing one that would beat Columbia.
Right.
And so it's the same thing. We just have to be really intelligent about it. Yes, if you build a winner and you build something that's really attractive to people, you're going to be able to attract people. I don't even want to say easier, but you're going to be able to attract people that maybe you wouldn't have been able to attract before. And I think winning does that. I really believe it. Winning is going to get people in the gym. We're not getting at marketing or ticketing people. It's our job to put a good product on the floor, and winning is going to start to. There is a little bit of a honeymoon period where there's people who are interested, and we're able to show them, listen, I've had this 4-man Akira that you can look at that's in the NBA, Lachlan Olbrich, or I have these guards. My best players have been guards the last 5 years, DeJour Reeves and Christian Henry, that you can use as this could be you know, or some of the high school commits that we have. They're looking at that. So, but when you win, they will come. And so, yes, things might get. Again, not easier, but we may be able to attract more. So far so good.
Yeah, so far so good.
You look forward to the season now, Akira. I'm sure you've heard rumors of Rose Thrill. That's a word that means something to you? It's about to. Hopefully, you have a home-heavy non-conference schedule. What's the game plan and the thought process over these next few weeks? Trying to ratchet up the fan enthusiasm, maybe help the recruiting down the line, and finally put this product on the floor after months of working.
And how do you feel about that mentality of your winning works as the advertising team for this team? Like, how do you feel about that mentality?
I was going to say, I completely agree with that.
I agree, too.
You can do all the promotion you want. You can do all this stuff. But if you don't put a good product out there on the court, it's just, people aren't going to show up. So I think, we just got to, believe in what the coaches say. They know what they're talking about. And we got to put a good product out there. We play good basketball. People want to watch good basketball. And that's going to attract people. But I'm also really excited because I've heard of, really good home crowds and, the support that the school gets. Everywhere I walk, people, if they see it, wearing Fordham basketball, they're like, oh, can't wait for the season, they're always trying to learn more about me and the other guys as well. So I'm really excited for this, really.
Yeah, and talking, a brief left turn, talking about your guys' coaching staff. For both of you, the experience in your coaching staff, I think, brings so much value, even talking about Coach Phelps, maybe the greatest defensive closeout in basketball history. Yeah. And even just talking about the rest of the staff, can you talk about how that experience has helped you? And Coach, how that experience has helped you? It obviously is a lot on your plate. It can get overwhelming. So how has that coaching staff sort of divvied up the responsibility as well? I can start with you, Akira.
I'd say for this coaching staff, the biggest thing for me that I really appreciate is how approachable each coach is and how easy it is to talk to them, how much they want to help. Every morning, I'm going to go into the coach's office, I'm going to go say hi to them, I'm going to talk to them for a little bit.
It's not the first thing you usually hear either. Approachability. I think that's a really underrated thing in coaching.
Yeah, it really is. It creates a connection there to where when they're yelling at me on the court, I'm not just I don't like this coach because I don't have a connection as much. Now it's I understand why they're doing that. I understand why they're trying to teach me there. And then when I watch the film, they can explain it. They can. It makes things once again easier for me, to understand what they're looking for, why they're getting on me on certain points, and it's also not all negative. They're gonna they have that positive side as well. So it's a good balance. I feel like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm very lucky. I really believe I have one of the best coaching staffs around, and we'll get to the A10. But I've said it a couple of times. I don't want to upset anyone, but I really have a great staff. I think I've worked with every single one of them at some point in my career. That's really important. So there's some alignment there, and they're just really, really good people. Every single one of them, and I can go to bat for them any day of the week, and that's what I want around. So Akira legitimately comes in our office every single day to say hello. And honestly, I'm always trying to tell the guys keep keep that door open, because that's what I experienced at UC Riverside. Just guys coming in, watching film all the time, and we always wanted that. Now, when I became head coach, now they started like avoiding me. When I was assistant, I was one of those guys.
Of course.
But there's just something that happens. It's just human nature. But I want that. I want them to feel that it is again part of the method. We're extremely demanding on the court, and the level of accountability is relentless. But then I want them to understand there's never any grudges held. I think that's just good leadership traits. There's never it's just what happens. Even in a 4-minute segment, if I'm going at Akira for something, even the next segment, it's over. And we're just different people. I'm a different person when I step on inside those 4 lines, and I love coaching. Is my favorite thing. I had a great time today at practice. Like, I had so much fun today at practice, yelling at him. And that was one of my favorites, because Akira, he messed up a press break, and it was a great opportunity for me. But, that one was fun for me, and they don't know that. They're probably like, it wasn't a great thing for them.
Right.
But this is my passion, So I just saw a little clip. Somebody was asking Eric Spoelstra, like, they were assuming you were burnt out last year, so what'd you do? He's like, I wasn't burnt out. And I totally resonated with that. That's like, I'm not when it comes to coaching. What'll burn you out is like just transfer portal and all that stuff, NIL, blah blah blah. But even that, like, I just reframing that. I'm blessed. Like, this is an awesome. I love Kenny Dillingham with Arizona State. He just there's no excuses.
Yeah.
He finds a way to the college football playoff. He's like, I saw it last year. He's like, if I left this job, you know how many 10,000 resumes would come in, and it's not. We're so blessed. This is an awesome opportunity to see what we can build here. So I love it.
Yeah, that sort of humility is so cool to hear, and I can even relate in the business we're in, where we would make money to then do this. You would then work to coach. So I think from a certain perspective, it's what you love, and also you briefly mentioned A10 coaching a little bit there. I know you have a great admiration for St. Bonaventure and what Coach Schmidt has done there, and obviously now Adrian Wojnarowski is the general manager there. Can you talk briefly about you doing not only the coaching job but the general managing job, and also your respect for the consistency St. Bonaventure has had, and how you'd like to implement that here?
I just think they're tough, and they're so well coached, and he's too kind and funny. Like, I'm like, now that I've hung out with him a couple times, I'm like, stop trying to. I mean, he just like he's the best. He's hilarious, and then Woj has been super kind and just really like helpful as best I can. And then now we do have a general manager, which is great. So we hired a general manager.
That wasn't the case in the spring.
It was not. It was not. And so just a few months ago, the Charles Guthrie, which is great, hired a general manager, and it's super helpful. I have
mostly for contract negotiation, right?
Yeah, and also, I have friends who, I got a lot of head coaching friends, and I have some that don't talk to agents at all, and I'm like, wow, that must be awesome. And then I have some that prefer to be in the, right, like some people, Greg Popovich,
right.
Whatever it is. I'm figuring it out, but I prefer not to. if
like
I
to
had no
coach.
choice, I love to coach.
Yeah.
And it's an old joke. All my friends are coaches. They're like, nobody loves coaching more than Mike Magpayo. And I really do. I love coaching. That's why I did it. That's why, like you nailed it. That's why I left real estate to do this. Like, this is, and I love it. I really do. And then now there's all these other new things. But then I always say this. I also was hired because I have some business background to do, I'll say, more with less at Fordham, if you want to talk about it, in that sense. Now, there's so much great stuff here at Fordham. We got everything we need to be successful. But of course, there's some programs in the A10 that have a lot more than we do.
Yeah.
But that's never stopped us, and I never look at it like that. I think we have more than enough to find a way.
You guys finally get to transfer that love onto the court next week. We'll wrap up with this. In a word or in a sentence, what's the identity? What is Fordham Rams basketball going to look like? What is that you're trying to establish next week?
Defend, rebound, take care of the ball. And that's the mantra, and these guys hear it all the time. And when we watch film, it's just structured in that way. Defend, rebound, take care of the ball. But then gritty. Like, we should be gritty. And we had a couple scrimmages, and I'll let cat out of the bag. We lost one by a lot, and we won one by a lot. But what was encouraging was to see the response after the one we lost by a lot. And that'll tell. I'll take that response every day. I'll take that response. The next 4 practices that week, I'll take that response all the time. So if we have that resilience and that grittiness, then we'll keep getting better. And our program and our team, I told them this before practice today, and the ones that I've coached, and it's not always like this, but so far I've been really lucky, and that's the The idea is to grow, have a growth mindset all the way where you're playing your best basketball in February, March. That is the ultimate goal. That's why it's like we can't even talk about 18. We got a long ways to go. We got a lot of work to do. We got to make sure we have a great shooting workout tomorrow and a great tip-off dinner tomorrow night and, great practice on Friday. So we really take it a day at a time like that.
Akira, what are you trying to establish identity-wise for yourself as a player and for you guys as a team?
I'll start with the team, but like something that we've been saying a lot in the huddle is like we do a break and we say us, and it's super simple, but I think it just makes so much sense to where like it is a process. It's a long season. Like we're not going to be perfect on the first game, but like I feel like the biggest thing is just staying together through the highs, through the lows. Like as we continue to grow, and we will because we're a great team. Like as long as we stick together and believe in what we do, what the coaches do, and how everyone's together, I feel like that's really going to help us be successful. And then just for me personally, it's similar thing, just being able to grow every single day. Like, obviously I have my strengths, I have my weaknesses, and just being able to like continue to communicate with the coaches, with my teammates, and that to help me get better. Like obviously, like I know I'm not a complete player yet, but I know I can get there. So just using the resources I have, believing in myself, but also believing in others that they have the belief in me. And I feel like that's the biggest thing I'm looking forward to this year.
And one more question for Akira. Your character is a testament to the sort of the happiness, the humility that he is trying to convey here with the unit. You mentioned the togetherness there, not even for the success of the team, but for your day-to-day, your quality of life. How has it been, this unit, this togetherness of the unit?
It's awesome. Just every day, like, I don't know, like people like say that it looks like I'm like acting all the time, but every day I walk into the locker, I'm full like huge smile because I'm happy to see the guys. I enjoy seeing them every single day. I enjoy like being able to like work with them, go through the grind with them every day. So like it's something that it's great. There's a great group of guys. I really appreciate Coach for that. So I'm enjoying every single day.
Vibes are pretty good, Joe.
Vibes are high. We're open to keep it rolling next week. Coach, Akira, thank you both so much. Fordham men's basketball tips off its 2025-26 season next Tuesday, November 4th, at home against NJIT, 7 p.m. tip. You won't want to miss it. If you can't make it in person, we've got the radio broadcast for you, 90.7 FM, and on our YouTube page right here. Not going to want to miss it. For Chris Carrino, I've been Joe Henry saying so long. Go Rams.
Go Rams.
Hashtag Ramley.
It's going to stay in, too.